Hello, my friends. It's great to see you. Now, welcome to today's edition of This Week in Nectar, and I'm joined by the People's Populist Fed.
That's right. I've wrote some incredible articles in the past there, Godwinson, but my esteemed journalist colleague here as well, Godwinson, is going to lead us in this week with some incredible stories. What nectar have you uncovered this week, Godwinson?
Well, I've uncovered quite a bit of nectar, which I've passed on to my journalist friends in the mainstream media. So the left-wing plant cover is really going well, PPP. My esteemed colleague in the mainstream media.
It looks as though our cover has been blown, Godwinson. We've been exposed.
We've been exposed as left-wing shills, PPP.
This isn't good. This isn't good. Hurry, let's say something racist. Then we'll get our cover back, Godwinson. No.
All right, PPP. So we're convened to discuss the latest happenings, which have come yet again from Coach Red Pill, and he's produced a masterpiece of Kino. Today, he released a video which was absolute nectar in its purest, most glistening form. Would you agree, PPP?
I would agree. I mean, this is nectar distilled down to its pure essence of just pure bum hurt and tears and sadness and betrayal. Everything is here. There's so many thematic elements to this piece of Kino that Coach has produced.
All right. So what we are talking about here is the truth about Andy Warski and Ethan Ralph video that Coach Red Pill made and uploaded today. And during that video, he says that he's disappointed. He's disappointed because they've gone after his dead child, who isn't dead, who's dying, but who isn't dying, but who might be dying, but has a kidney problem, but not life-threatening, but it's going to make him struggle in life. Regardless, Coach shows a video clip of his child to BTFO, Warski and Ralph. And then he shows a clip of Warski and Ralph driving in their IRL stream to Miami, I suppose, or Washington, who knows, who knows. And during that clip, they receive a super chat and they say something along the lines of, "This smells like Coach Red Pill's dead baby." And Coach has taken this to mean that they're attacking his dying kidney child. Whereas I don't know, I thought that perhaps they were mocking the Coach Red Pill instructing his girlfriend to have an abortion story. Who knows? PPP, thoughts?
Well, what we saw was a masterful stroke of emotional manipulation from Coach Red Pill. So he immediately, sets himself in a light of a father, taking care of his young child. He exploits the cuteness of his child to get back at Ethan and Andy, even though he doesn't have to show his child, and nor should he show and expose his child to, people like Andy, Ethan, the trolls online. But he does that anyway, just to, prove a point to his ex-business associates. And then, he proceeds to moral fag, even though he says, not to ascribe to bourgeoisie morality. He then proceeds to moral fag and get on a high horse about a joke about his dead baby, which could be a joke about the abortion, could be a joke about this or that, but ultimately have some really thin-skinned people getting offended for no fucking reason about shit that really no one should care about. But, I do, because I have no life.
PPP, it has to be noted that I'm about to reveal the truth behind the lie. I'm about to pull the curtain away from Coach's magic trick and reveal the logic behind it. What we saw in that...
Do you think only people who didn't know about the Coach abortion pill were fooled? Because I don't know about you. When I saw the cut where it showed his reaction to what they were saying, I was laughing.
Sorry, Leo, I've had to mute you because I want to give my hot take. What we saw in that video with Coach's child was that there was a slight rendering issue. We could see on the outline, sort of as the child's hair brushed Coach's Chilean beard, we could see that the child was in fact a CGI creation. Would you agree, PPP?
Well, I'll have to go back and look at it, Godwinson, but I know with, the ties that you have to the MSM, to Hollywood, you can definitely detect when it's CGI and when it isn't. And it may very well be a false child that Coach, it turns out, is still a virgin, as many of his critics have claimed.
I think Coach's efforts have gone into rendering this child out of CGI, out of computer animation, for this very moment, to BTFO Ralph and Warski, and to contrive this emotional bear baiting.
Yeah, there was certainly something unnatural about the child's movements. You know what? You're right. There was something uncanny valley about the child.
You know what it reminded me of, PPP? It reminded me of Jurassic Park.
Yes. It could very well be that Coach, the kenographer, the expert of cinema that he is, has learned how to do computer-generated imagery. I thought that his skills were limited just to, his drone shots, his 8 DLSRs, his incredible editing. But you're right, Godwinson. This might be a fabrication of a child, which, exposes the real truth about Coach Red Pill. Wow. You've blown my mind. This is more mind-blowing than the Inception and the Matrix combined, buddy.
Well, hopefully we're going to have our minds blown even further, because I'm about to bring in Leo Pirate to the conversation. Hello, Leo. Sorry for muting you. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here to give the counterpoint. I didn't see the CGI. I don't know. Was there a green screen behind him? Because the child looked pretty convincing from several angles, but I could see if I watch it a second time, perhaps there is CGI components I'm not seeing.
The child was, in fact, a tennis ball being held at Coach's eye line, so he could interact with it convincingly.
It's all possible. Just I think the idea that this was masterful emotional manipulation would only work if you know absolutely nothing about Coach Red Pill or Warski and Ralph, because how he cut away from them saying all these raunchy things in their car while drunk to his reaction, his pseudo offended reaction. Oh, I can't believe they said this, and he was silent for a solid 5 seconds, just staring at the camera. It was incredible. I was dying. I was laughing so hard.
I thought he was going to cry. I actually thought, because there was a lump in his throat.
He was genuine. He was on the verge of tears right there. And I think whether or not the child is CGI or not, we need to talk about the implications of this. He's bringing in his child to make a point in internet drama.
Yeah, and look, if we even give Coach the benefit of the doubt here, clearly Ralph and Warski were talking about the Coach abortion pill story. They obviously weren't laughing at the kidney child, right? This wasn't on the cards, was it?
No.
But Coach has decided to sit down, record a video with his child, his living one of his many ones that exist and that are littered about the globe, but the one that he's chosen to actually call son and acknowledge and pay for. He's decided to use him as this weird attack against Ethan Ralph and Andy Warski. Why? Questions.
I'm not sure, because he said he was done with drama, but I guess not enough to bring in his child dying from kidney cancer.
My problem isn't so much with the video that Coach has made or even exploiting his child. It's more so with the internal inconsistency, because as a devout incel follower of the Coach cult, he's contradicted himself. He said that the words Andy Warski and Ethan Ralph would never come out of his mouth again. That was in his initial video about this topic. And yet he still continues to milk it over and over and over again. And at this point, as a follower of the Coach cult, I'm feeling a little bit confused. I don't know what to believe. Why is my deity lying? This can't be so. This can't be. I'm concerned.
I believe that Coach is about to launch an Indiegogo campaign.
For his son's kidney?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's about to launch some sort of Great Ormond Street kidney campaign where sort of anons with good hearts can donate to Coach Red Pill and save Western civilization.
I'm going to donate. I'm going to donate Godwinson to save his son's kidney. If he was to go throughout life missing one of his kidneys, that would be really devastating if he was to lose the other one later in life. And I wish for all the best. My hopes and prayers are with his CGI son. And I hope that he can get at least 20 grand on Indiegogo because he deserves it. He deserves it. He's saving Western civilization. He's putting women back in the kitchen. And of course, helping the white race, even though he's not white.
Do we think that if Coach Red Pill's CGI child dies, that he'll make a video blaming Ethan Ralph and Andy Warski for it?
It's a very real possibility. He's already using his child right now. So, I mean, if it passed away, why not? He wouldn't even, would he go as far as showing funeral photos? That's the next question. I'm not sure.
I think he's going to live stream the funeral in Kino filter with evil laughter aimed at the evil Ralph males that have laughed at his aborted child.
Here's my question. How did he find that clip to go? Was he actually watching the stream? Did someone else send it to him? Because he had to have been combing through hours of footage. I don't know how long the stream was to pick that one comment out. So they mentioned this joke, right? Forget about the abortion.
Well, Leo, you've got to realize that Coach Red Pill has been sending many super chats to try and elicit a reaction where he can clip 30 seconds of Ethan Ralph and Andy Warski laughing at Coach's abortions.
Ah.
So he can spin it as an attack on his living child who has a kidney problem.
The real question, how much of his life is he spending on this? Like, he's the only person on earth who's actually watching the Washington, D.C. stream, the Richmond stream, the Miami stream. I haven't even been watching it, and I'm an autistic spurg. So what?
Yeah, no, I can't say I've been watching it either. But you've got to realize, PPP, that Andy Warski and Ethan Ralph are going across on a road trip across America to kill Coach Red Pill's kidney child. That's their aim. It's like natural born killers. The final ultimate endpoint is to hero that child of Coach Red Pill's. So he has to watch to know where their movements are.
Oh boy. That's grim. That's dark, Godwinson. I'm praying for Coach's kidney child. Let's hope for the best. Fuck, man.
I've got something to read that's been sent to me by many people. I think 10 people have sent me this email, and it's all come with each version of the email. There's been a new draft. Let's say there's been revisions to the grammar, there's been revisions to the syntax, and redundancy apparently. So I'll read the latest edition of this email, and it concerns our friend Gator, who we're going to be adopting as the third co-host. Thoughts on Gator, Leo Pyrote?
I think he is an epic old fag who really knows what's up with the internet, and that's why he gravitated towards Ralph. He could see this camaraderie of understanding how the internet really works and constantly replying to everything people say about you. So I think he'd be a great addition to the show.
It's going to be great to hear his takes on how to attract women, because don't forget he's a lady killer, and Gator can really show all of us incels how to attract those Hispanic
that clip was
women that he's been bragging about on Killstream.
That clip was so painful because he thought he could get
by. It was all
by.
true.
Yes, I'm sorry. But he thought he could get by with Dick Masterson by just saying, yeah, she was part Puerto Rican. Long silence. And Dick was like, what does that mean? And they had him elaborate. Oof.
Hey, look, when we adopt Gator, there'll be no more mockery.
Godwinson, let me just tell you the truth. If you bring Gator onto the show, that's the day I fucking quit. I fucking hate Gator. I can't even pretend that, even mockingly in jest, that I enjoy anything that Gator's ever done or produced. Gator's not an old fag. He just is a fag. He's an absolute disgrace to humanity, a shit stain on the underpants of humanity. He's a boring beta cuckold bitch with the most milquetoast soundboard takes. Play the clip, Gator! And he plays the fucking clip. Fuck Gator and fuck the people who like Gator, or even moral fag or troll shield for Gator. That's all I have to say. Fuck him.
Well, all I will say is that Gator will deliver. Gator coin will rise. And I
No.
fully expect to see his cheeks being spread on the next edition of This Week in Nectar.
That's the only way I'll let him on the show is if he spreads his ass and inserts like a fucking purple dildo into his asshole so I can jerk off to it. Then I'll accept Gator. One of us. Till then, fuck him.
That's
There's
incredibly
the conditions, Gator. There's the terms of the contract. Fulfill them, and we'll let you on the show.
There we
That's
go.
an incredibly specific initiation ritual. Glad I joined before that became standard.
Well, Leo.
All right. I'm going to read this email that's been sent to me by many Anons. So, it's a bit of a story, but I'll do my best to read it with a bit of dramatic emphasis. Shannon typed "Gay Ops Winston" and pressed enter and leaned back with the smuggest smirk upon his face. He'd done it. He'd caught the notorious Godwinson. He did it all by himself. He didn't need any Anon's praise. He was a man who could achieve results. He caught the person who was those stupid image board Anon's idol, red-handed. The thought was making his chest palpitate as he silently chuckled to himself, his fat rolls threatening to constrict his heart. He leaned sideways to grab the bottle of Gatorade from the floor. It wasn't long before he realized that the bottle was yet again empty. He threw it across the room towards where the other empty bottles lay, some waiting more than 2 weeks to be taken to the trash bin. He coughed and thought cardiac arrest as he slowly but steadily rose from his worn-out chair in search of a brand new bottle. He was back 5 minutes later, steadily descending into the chair, lest it break from the sheer momentum of Gator Gamer's 600-pound body. He glanced over to the digital clock sitting next to the computer monitor that looked like it hadn't been dusted in months. Not that the numbers mattered. He reached and tried to get 2 fingers on the mouse, to such a position that he could be able to click without his fat fingers triggering the mouse wheel. Finally succeeding, he scrolled down the thread occupied by those vile people. Those people hiding behind the cowardice known as anonymity thought that they were more successful than him, that they were smarter, that just by laughing at him they were right and he was wrong. He tried to resist the urge to reply as he read post by post, making fun of his appearance, his demeanor, and his intelligence. One post in particular attracted his attention. It was a screen cap from his private Discord room where he had typed minutes before. The poster revealed that the user who talked about Godwinson contacting Kirsten was in fact incorrect. Gator went pale. He'd not expected this. His plan was perfect. How could they? How could he have fallen for such an obvious ruse? All the anxiety Gator had been holding back came crashing down on him as he silently shed tears. Alone, in his 1-bedroom apartment. I think we have the best audience.
Oh my god!
They're like they definitely possess literary skill that outclasses the Kumatards and the Ralph Males. I definitely believe that.
That was perhaps the finest piece of literature since Hamlet, Godwinson. And with your voice reading it, that beautiful posh British accent, you really brought it to life in a way that I couldn't even envision until now. That was a visionary masterwork, a magnum opus, so to speak.
Well, I hope that the 10 autists that feverishly emailed me this with 10 different revisions are happy now that I've read this. Don't say I don't do anything for you, even though I am a leftist plant and a mainstream media feed shill A-log.
Yes. This is it. What should we feed to the MSM next, Godwinson? Who's the next target?
Oh, I don't know. Shall we feed them leaks on Zoom? Shall we go after Zoom? Shall I get my buddies in the Daily Mail and Metro to go after Zoom?
I believe that might be the case. We might be seeing an article in the National Post soon, but I can't confirm or deny whether or not we'll be seeing further articles from either Post Media or the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters. We will have to see.
All right, Leo. Have you got any news for this week to bring to the table?
Not other than what we talked about already. Just CRP freaking out about that. I did see the Indiegogo that Ralph and Worski had set up for their trip to Miami. They had exceeded their funding goal of $4,000. They made just a little over it. And people are apparently complaining that they're bragging about the things they're spending. They're out getting drunk, talking about ways to make more super chats when they've exceeded their funding goal. So people are saying, are they using the funds correctly? Time will tell. I don't know if they'll, use the funds correctly or if they'll go to jail. We'll see in Miami.
How can anyone be surprised that they're pissing away all of the money on drugs and alcohol?
The kind of people who watch the show and give money, those are the kind of people who would be surprised that they're not using the money correctly.
But the only people who would get, like, if I gave money to that campaign, that's exactly what I would expect them to do and want them to do, is just to get horribly fucking butchered on drugs and alcohol until they die or get arrested. I mean, that's the whole reason you would contribute, no? I mean, what the fuck did you think was going to happen to your money? Are you stupid? I don't know.
You know what I didn't like when they were IRL streaming? They exploited a tramp for their own monetary gain. And they didn't, at the end of that exploitation, say to the tramp, here's a couple of dollars, get yourself something to eat. They just sort of walked away.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you have such a heart for the homeless, Godwinson. Don't you realize that those homeless people should just die on the side of the street? And that's what's more important is that Ethan Ralph be able to feed and grow the gunt with more cheeseburgers and booze? Don't you understand? Sad bourgeoisie socialists in action, caring about the poor and the downtrodden instead of growing a glorious gunt.
I think their conscience has been seared long ago. That stream where they were exchanging underage girls to bust a pedophile ring, you realize there's really only two outcomes from it. One, they're actually pedophiles, which I'm not sure. I don't think they are. But the other alternative is that they were exploiting pictures of underage girls for clicks and super chats on their stream.
Well, that's what everyone agrees with, don't they? Everyone agrees that they did that, but they were just retarded, right? I don't think anyone thinks they were pedos.
I don't think it gets any worse than that, does it? Like, when you're willing to go that far, why are you surprised that they didn't give money to the people that they're making off of on their little walk and stream?
Look, you guys are just soft. All that matters in this world is profit. We have socialists here and Christians, which is basically a synonym for socialist. Am I the only based Shapiro capitalist in this fucking call? Am I the only one who listens to the Daily Wire every fucking day? You guys are soft as fuck.
Ethan, you've got to be Yang Gang PPP. You've got to join Yang Gang, or else it's all over for you.
Yeah, I better fucking join Yang Gang and be a goddamn retard. Oh, my $1,000 neat bucks! Woohoo! The excitement, inflation isn't real, guys. Woohoo! Yeah, it's gonna work out.
Can you imagine when a McDonald's Big Mac costs $500?
I can. I don't know if
Hashtag Yang Gang for the win.
Yang Gang. I love how it's like, oh, it's only really a $3 trillion gap instead of an $8 trillion gap. And because it'll be taxed as well, I mean, it's only like a $1.8 trillion expenditure. Well, that's still like 10% of the U.S. budget and increased spending, for fuck's sake, man. I don't know. I watched Joe Rogan, and I was thoroughly disappointed with Mr. Yang, I have to say.
All right. I tell you what I did see, PPP. I saw the launch of your Kinosphere series, where you had Coach Red Pill and then later Dispatch on. I wept as I watched that video. I cried. I felt a deep sorrow in my heart simply for Coach. Coach was doing that at what, 4, 5 in the morning?
Yeah, that was at like 5 in the morning.
He was cutting wood. Like, he looked very disheveled. I don't know. He definitely didn't look right. Was he well? Was he on medication? Was he drunk? Or?
Well, Godwinson, I don't really know what to say. We were watching Felony Fights, so we watched like a Nazi bite the nose off an autistic kid, and then Coach appeared because I guess he was watching the fights, and he said he wanted on, and I was like, well, we're watching, Felony Fights. It's like, come on, guys, let me on. He was bagging, so I let him on the show, and then Coach let us know how Churchill was worse than Hitler. This was an actual quote. from Coach. And he also let us know, that his uncle had cuckolded him. That was a revelation on the program. His uncle.
Yeah, this is something we actually haven't talked about, have we? Give us the story of PPP, and then are you aware of this beforehand, Leo, or is this all new to you?
This is the first time I'm hearing it.
Okay, great. You've got to relay the story to Leo, and then we shall give our hot takes.
So look, Coach explained how he had his bastard children, and the way he explained that they weren't really his bastards was that it turned out that the kids looked exactly like his uncle, and when they DNA tested it, it turned out that Coach's uncle was actually the father. So it was very, very much like the Jeremy Kyle show, but for Chileans, I suppose. And so Coach was explaining how he wasn't a bad father because those bastards weren't really his; they belonged to his uncle.
Wow, that sounds like a guy I want to hear life advice from.
I agree. I think his life advice, because he's been through so much, Leo, remember, he's experienced all these bad things, so he can teach you how not to fuck up, Leo. Don't read the Bible, just listen to Coach. That's the answer. Oh. Blessed day. Blessed day. The dead air.
It's very weird that he decided to leak that exclusive on your stream, PPP. Is Coach Red Pill saving his best Kinos for the Kinosphere now?
Well, that's the thing, is the Kinosphere, it was a smashing success. I mean, Coach saves up his best nectar, his best Kino. Now, if you were watching the Kinosphere, you actually saw Coach Red Pill. Did you see this, Godson? He lost one of his fingers during trying to cut the wood.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's at that point. I mean, I could hear harrowing piano music, melancholic waltzing, as he did that, because I thought, what's going on now with Coach Red Pill? Is he well? Has he been given some sort of terminal diagnosis? Because I don't know. He was making a box during that stream, wasn't he? And I imagined it to be this very elaborate box. It was. Let's be objective here. It was the shittest box you've ever seen, right?
It was, I think, like 4 pieces of wood, and the problem was he measured it wrong. So
it was all poorly cut. It was a poorly cut plywood box that he'd spent going for.
The funniest part also, so it's this poorly cut fucking box he can't even put together, and then as soon as he came on the show, he said, I only have 5 minutes. I only have 5 minutes to talk. We talked for like an hour. He had an important appointment, and he kept talking for like an hour more, and his box failed to come together. He said, oh shit, I have to go, and then he left. Presumably he's still living in his studio, apparently. I don't know.
That was the funniest thing, the claim that he's living in his studio, because he vehemently denied it with words. I have yet to see any evidence contrary to it, like a single image, I don't know, a single shot of him somewhere else, but he's kind of just going with it. There are clothes of his that were on chairs. Maybe he lives there. You don't know. Ukraine.
So he's explained this before, both in private and in public, I believe. But he says that he has his shirts there so he can mass churn out these Coach Kinos, so he can wear a fresh shirt for each incel Red Pill video. But it seems as though he's always at the studio. He's shown you the corridor, right? He's shown you the corridor of the building where
that's true.
The studio is.
Pushing it, because it's his streams where he's walking with his walker. He has his camera set up. He's in the studio. All of his CRP videos are in the studio. And if he was so concerned about looking good, that he has several shirts to wear, it doesn't really carry out into any other parts of his appearance. But he certainly has the right shirt on.
Now,
well, the CGI child appeared to be in a different place.
Ah, that's true.
Or did it? Was it
one
in
of
studio?
The hottest stuff?
Hang on, let me go back and have a look at the video.
I think it was somewhere else. If it was in the studio, that would be too much. Oh no.
No, it can't have been in the studio, Godwinson. Is that true?
I'm having a look now. Just a second.
Yeah, Josh is saying
talk about Christianity while I.
Well,
by
I could
now.
talk about what I found about Ralph in Ralph's what is it, thread, or on his Twitter. He was saying he was trying to fight against the claims that he wiped his hard drive ever since that stream, right? You know, the busting a CP ring stream.
Yeah, he
He
said he
wiped
wiped it 2 months prior, right?
Yes. And the way he proved that is on Twitter. He posted an image of a drive on his computer, like a folder on his computer, and he showed the last modified date. And you say, see, it was modified all the way in January. One problem is the directory was the D drive. That's not the, in Windows at least, that's not the main drive for the operating system or most of your system files. So he could have effectively been showing a flash drive, anything else. And if anything, it reinforced the idea that he probably did, in fact, wipe his computer because of that stream. Not a good look at all, especially if there's an investigation going into that.
Yeah, no, that's
I don't
interesting.
know. I don't know. There's so much there now. We don't know who's lying. We don't know who's telling the truth. I mean, we don't even know if that story where he's visited by the police and the police joined him as they browsed cow and then took a trip to Kiwi Farms was in fact real now.
But Godwinson,
Who knows?
the hottest take that Coach gave on the Kenosphere was he said that Godwinson, people are giving up on you. They've had enough of you because you're inaccurate with your reporting of the facts. He said that people are going to turn on Godwinson because he lies and he's inaccurate. How do you feel about that?
Isn't this supposed to be the most autistic corner of the internet? What? Why are people quoting us as sources?
I don't know, Godwinson. Well, it's because we work for the
why do people
MSF.
want us to behave with journalistic integrity?
Well, we apparently are legitimate journalists working for reputable organizations. Apparently, you work for Metro, you know, and I apparently am.
True.
I apparently am not a NEET living on welfare in his mother's basement, but I'm instead a multifarious journalist who, you know, is deep undercover and spreading his asshole to defeat Ethan Ralph with leaks and shit. I don't know. I guess that's the reality.
Yeah. I suppose that, I don't know. Maybe Coach was trying to BTFO us by saying our information was inaccurate, but I think anyone using our show as a source and as a point where we can, like anyone using this as a source is a retard. Is completely retarded. The three of us, myself, PPP, and Leo Pirate, are lolcows, and we make no bones about it. And if you want us to be, if you don't want us to lie for fun, then you need to watch something else.
I can see why people. I can see why people use this as a sort, because we curate just the hours and hours of footage that goes on every week. That's what this Week in Nectar is for. We're filtering out the nectar.
I don't know, Godwinson. This sounds like the Jon Stewart defense. You know, people don't really take this as news, and if they do, they're fucked. No, this is now the new Daily Show, Godwinson, where this is the only news show they watch, and they take it very seriously. And you're giving us the Jon Stewart defense, and I guess I'm now complicit in that. Years ago, I would have never been complicit in it, but now I believe that Jon Stewart did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
Yeah. But by all means, quote everything we say on this Week in Nectar and use it in your interactions with people in real life. Say you got it on This Week in Nectar. Say you got all of your hot takes on This Week in Nectar. It'd be amazing.
It will be. It will be amazing. And who knows, if you promote us well enough, you may appear in the latest Daily Mail or Metro article. Godwinson has a lot of connections, you know. I
can always pass on any information to my friends in the mainstream press. It'll be great.
This is true. This is true. Socialism will prevail, my brother, it seems. Okay.
I also noticed in your stream as well, you had Mundane Matt in the chat.
Yeah, so that was kind of the most surreal moment of my entire existence upon this earth. Never once in my life did I think, oh, you know, one day Mundane Matt is going to be watching one of my live streams. And I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know whether to feel sad that a retard like Mundane Matt enjoys my content, or glad that I have such a strong personality that even though I shit on Mundane Matt all the time and said he's a cuck and a beta and a soy boy, he still submits to my cult of personality and likes and subscribes.
Well,
I don't know.
PPP. Further evidence, yet again, that there are e-celebs browsing Cow and posting on Cow. And the only way Mundane Matt knows about you, PPP, is because he was on Cow scrolling through posts about himself that he then stumbled upon your stream. That's why he was in your chat, PPP.
Yes, I according to Coach, I have reached a point where I'm influencing the tastemakers. You see, because Cow are the tastemakers of the internet, and because of this, you see,
Wait,
I'm
is
going
he
to.
saying that? Is that what he's running with?
Yeah, that's what he said. The Cow are the tastemakers,
The
and that
tastemaker.
yeah.
The Cow that fucking tributes all over Melanie Warski.
Yes, they are the epicenter,
tastemakers.
the epicenter of social influence and prestige in this
The
world.
thing is, though, PPP, he believes this unironically, doesn't he? He thinks that Cow sets narratives, and you know, he does. He thinks it's the center of the internet. It's Coach's Reddit.
If I knew nothing, was it like if I knew nothing about Coach, I would take him for one of those QAnon boomers, but instead he's like that, but for IBS.
Well, I've always said, haven't I, that Coach obviously went to 8chan to browse the QAnon threads, and then he stayed for the Cow threads.
I don't know. I do want to mention the Freudian slip, though, from our friend Leo Pirate, where he says he knows nothing of Coke. Is it true?
Here we go.
Are you a user of cocaine?
Degenerate, Leo Pirate.
Yeah, what? No. Sorry, that was a bump off screen. I'm not quite Sargon level. I don't have my video cam on, so you guys can't really have any evidence against me. You just have that Freudian slip. You got nothing.
I don't know. That's enough evidence for me. Off with his fucking head, the filthy goddamn degenerate. What a drain on society is for using stimulants. That motherfucker. Let's get him, Godwinson. Let's report him to the MSN.
Here's the real question. Do you think Worski or Ralph, they already show themselves drinking alcohol on their streams. Do you think by accident they might accidentally show their stash? Maybe, because this idea that Worski does coke, it's pretty well established. Do you think maybe they might slip up at Miami? They might show them bumping on the side. Who knows? Because they've already showed them. They've already shared underage girls on live streams. So why not just doing illegal drugs? Is that really a huge step up?
Well, I imagine that's almost guaranteed that at one point or another, because they're streaming so much of their day and they're getting fucked up, like your impulse control starts to go, and stupid ideas seem like good ideas when you're fucked up on drugs. So yeah, I really could see them purposely showing it off or accidentally showing it off. Miami, it seems to be their Waterloo, and if they survive Miami, maybe we'll all be blown the fuck out. I don't know.
If they survive Miami, if no one gets
everyone
arrested,
thinks they're going to be arrested, don't they? Everyone thinks they're going to encounter law enforcement at some point during Miami.
Which is, I guess, part of what they think. They think people are watching for the entertainment value. Oh, Worski and Ralph. I'm not sure if they know that everyone's watching just to see if they get arrested.
Yeah, I'm basically watching to either see if they get arrested or see what new fashion they can flame out spectacularly, ruin their careers and reputations, and sink to, even newer lows. I thought the bathtub stream would be the lowest of lows, but the bar just keeps being fucking lowered. The humiliation that they heap upon themselves is tremendous, and I just keep being reminded of, the Bible, where Jesus says, just wait, and your enemies will be made your footstools. I don't even need to attack them; they just destroy themselves. It's incredible. It's incredible.
And this is why we should not do This Week in Nectar Live.
well, no. Here's the I'm talking, and I'm just expecting that someone will jump in with a new and unique, innovative take. I mean, I can just keep talking the whole goddamn time. You know what I mean? There won't be dead air, but it will just be my annoying autistic takes repeated endlessly for the audience, which will lead them to, I believe, their own version of hell. That's what I believe.
So yeah, someone in the chat was saying that the CP thing was it for them. Something I noticed, I tried to Google the article, and Metro's SEO leaves something to be desired because I couldn't find it. Even typing like the exact title. Godwinson, you say that they're dead, that they're finished. This Metro article is the end of their life. It's not really showing up in Google results. In fact, when I searched Ethan Ralph and Ralph Retort, an article from 2016 from the Washington Post talking about him getting arrested as this a Gamergate journalist who got arrested, that popped up first. And I was searching behind what is it, a VPN on a clear browser, right, in a private instance. So I didn't have any prior cookies to go off of like my past search history. I straight up couldn't find the article. But if anyone thinks that that's
very interesting, Leo Pirate. There's certainly some gay opsery involved then. I mean, it's being delisted by the Ralpha males themselves. Perhaps they're the true influencers. Perhaps they are the feds, and they're having these articles removed about themselves through their sheer influence, autism, and fan base. I don't know.
I don't know. I've just done a quick Google search and I can see it. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with England. Who knows? If I type in Andy Warski and I go to the news tab of Google, it says alt-right YouTuber shared vast sexual images of underage girls. So
I didn't go to the news tab. That's the thing. But yeah, for sure.
Let me see here, because it could be that Leo Pirate's compromised, that the feds have put something onto his computer to block him from viewing certain info. Yeah, I can see it. There it is. Yeah, it looks as though Leo has actually, been compromised. That there's some software on his computer that stopped him from viewing.
You have to remember though. You have to remember that both of us are not accurate. So who knows? Everyone here is lying. So
it's true. It's true. Do we have any more info?
Is it news to anyone that Queen of Pole, Brian, is back on Kiwi farms because of my influence?
Queen of Pole, ladies and gentlemen, it's very exciting that he's back on Kiwi farms. We have to thank you, Godwinson, for your incredible influence and insight in making that happen. It's not a surprise to anyone.
All right, I think we've done our half hour. Have we done half an hour, or is it 20 minutes?
This is the first time we've not been able to fill a whole half hour.
Well, look, this is what's happening. There's nothing happening. There's been a Coach Red Pill video, and there's been some very, very boring IRL streams. And Zoom has been chilling, trying to AstroTurf Cow. So, I mean, what's happened? What's actually been happening?
This is what I predicted. This is what I predicted, because we're supposed to be reporting. Godwinson, we're supposed to be reporting on the death of IBS, but when IBS is dead, we will be the next one to die.
Maybe this is it. Maybe this is our death. Maybe we finally ran out of autists to talk about, because the autism's just got too strong now that it's almost impenetrable. We can't even cover it. We've stared into the abyss, and the abyss has locked us out.
How long until we all start turning on each other? How long? How long, oh Lord?
You know, at this point in most streams, they start reading the super chats. But what we'll do is we'll just end it. I don't know. Is this it? Is this the end of This Week in Nectar? Is there anything to talk about now? Do we want to be talking about Miami on the next show and the boring events of someone going around with a camera in selfie mode, walking into McDonald's and reading super chats? Does anyone find that appealing?
Only if someone's arrested. Then I'll appear for This Week in Nectar. But until then, yeah, what did we talk about? Wow, they walked around. People looked at them strangely. They were kicked out of a place because the super chat said racist epithets. Like, wow, what a shock, right? I mean, it's an old gimmick too. Didn't Asian Andy do that? And Ice Poseidon? It's not even new.
It's happened. And Baked Alaska even did it, didn't they? I say, are any of the skeptics doing anything? Or have they finally learned their lesson and decided to just keep attacking SJWs and look, have you seen the quartering channel, by the way? Since he's got out of all of this, he's really shot up just by simply going back to his bread and butter, his meat and potatoes of attacking feminists online.
It seems the only way to win an IBS is to not play. The boredom for me has gotten so strong that, yes, Chad, I am eating little Coke bottles, the gummy Coke bottles, because I'm that distressed, bored, and disgusted by the lack of news this week. It's tough. You know, can you imagine if we had to do this every day?
I myself have been trying to install a new TV I have. So during this whole stream. So it hasn't really been engaging because there's nothing to talk about. So unless the skeptics revitalize, which isn't going to happen, unless Ralph gets arrested, which most likely will happen, but it might not happen, and unless what are the conditions of it? Oh, unless Gator comes back, requests an appearance on This Week in Nectar, spread cheeks, I can't see us continuing this.
Well, maybe if Memology kicks off the Ralph retort, if those that investigation into their stream starts bringing any fruit, maybe he'll get kicked off Memology. Where will he go next? If
he'll go to Palmer Eldritch, won't he?
Where will he go?
To Palmer Eldritch's channel.
Uploads his archives.
Oh, okay. So you'll always have a place, but you'll go from 4,000, 3,000, 1,000, and if he goes there, 800 slowly declining.
No, it's really bad. I mean, his viewership is in the shitter, right? Like, he started off on Memology at 5,000 viewers. 2 days later, he was down to below 3,000. Now he's down below 2,000. He's getting Stream Me numbers on YouTube. And let's just remind everybody, this is on a channel with 100,000 subscribers. So it's just distressing. It's sad to see the once mighty kill stream reduced to a show that doesn't even have Zidane, can't break 2,000 fucking viewers on a channel with over 100,000 subscribers, which it's a bigger channel than the Killstream channel ever had before. So sad.
Yeah. Look, even though we have nothing to talk about, there's still bizarrely 562 viewers here. So what I'll do is I'll end the podcast or the stream now, and this will probably be it for a long, long time until we find a new source of autism to plunder.
Yes.
Do you want to shill your Kinosphere PPP?
Oh, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please go to the People's Populist Press channel on YouTube to watch the Kinosphere. I don't know how often the Kinosphere will happen. However, I do want to make an announcement. If this is the last episode of This Week in Nectar, I am going to be stealing the Killstream name since Ralph rebranded it to the Ralph Retort Tonight. I will now be running the Killstream every night with Croc and Sedan. And I think it's going to be tremendous. And this was what my whole gay-op plan from spreading my ass until now was leading up to, is once I hit 1,000 subs and I can get those super berries, then I'm going to launch the kill stream with Croc and Sedan. So, Ethan, you're fucked now, buddy.
All right. It's been wonderful. We'll see you after the first second of eternity passes. Bye-bye.